Hey everyone, welcome back to Approachable Napa. My name is Travis, and this is the channel where Napa Valley becomes easy to understand and fun to explore. Now, Napa is one of the most fascinating wine regions in the world, and today we've got a fun video of my 2026 wish list of Napa bottles, counting down from number 10 all the way down to number 1. Now, many of these bottles will probably be on the 2027 list as well, and that's because, well, these things can get expensive. And I tried to not have this list be entirely ultra rare bottles either. I don't think that'd be any fun. So instead, I selected wines that I mostly haven't tried and that I am genuinely interested in adding to my cellar. The only rule for this list is only one bottle per producer, just to try to keep things fresh. I'll give you some tasting notes that I read online and a little bit of info. I'm featuring two bottles today, one from Adversity Cellars by Russell Bevan, Catastrophe Cab 2022, and World's End, Good Times, Bad Times, Beckstofer To Cologne Cabernet 2022. I'm featuring these because they have been on my wish list and are two of my most recently acquired bottles, and because it would look boring if I didn't display any wine in a wine-related video. So, moving into number 10, we have Keenan Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon. Keenan's Reserve Cab is one of the most transparent expressions of location, a wine that unmistakably tastes like its high elevation home, and that's in Spring Mountain. Spring Mountain sits above St. Helena, where there are cooler temperatures and forested slopes that create Cabernets that are more lifted, more aromatic, and more structured than valley floor wines. The Reserve Cab leans into black cherry, blackberry, mulberry, and mountain herbs, but always has this kind of cooler toned edge. And nothing here will be overripe, and you can get the classic Spring Mountain signatures of like cedar, pine, forest, graphite, dried sage, with long and linear mountain-like tannins. And the acidity will give the wine a little bit of lift and definition. So I think that anyone that wants authenticity without a cult level price tag, well, this might be one of Napa's smartest buys that I haven't picked up yet. At number 9, we have Duckhorn Three Palms Merlot from Calistoga in the Three Palms Vineyard. Now, Three Palms is one of the most important Merlot vineyards in America. This is a serious Merlot. It's structured, age-worthy, and layered. It's got a profile of pomegranate, red plum, rhubarb, dried herbs, warm baking spice, and the tannins are much firmer than most Merlots, which gives the wine a kneaded backbone and a sense of longevity. Three Palms proves that Merlot can be powerful and complex, not just soft and easygoing. I've tried this one myself in a tasting. It's fantastic. It's a benchmark wine. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's very, very consistent based on vintage too. At number 8, we have Mount Brave Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, you might notice a trend on this list that location and character in wines is very, very important to me as I rank them. Mount Brave captures the rugged, high-altitude character of Mount Veeder, which is the coolest, most forested, and, in my opinion, the most geologically complex mountain in Napa's AVAs. The vineyard sits on steep slopes, producing Cabernets with intense aromatics, firm structure, and a natural acidity. The wine will show blue fruit, violets, dark chocolate, graphite, and mountain herbs with powerful but lifted tannins. Now, Mountain Veeder Cabernets often feel vertical, like a lot of other mountain cabs. And this one's very age-worthy as well. Excited to get my hands on it. At number 7, we've got Quintessa Rutherford Red Blend. Now, Rutherford is known for the famous Rutherford dust, and that's a way to describe this cocoa powder tannin quality that gives wine a soft, earthy elegance. And I think Quintessa is going to deliver that the best, along with some cassis, blackberry, cocoa, graphite, warm spice that has a texture that's polished. The estate's rolling hills, diverse soils allow for a blend that can feel complete and multi-dimensional. So I think that Quintessa is a wine that's not just about being the biggest or boldest. I see it more as a finesse sort of wine. And it's got the critic ratings to back that appeal as well. At number 6, we have the To Cologne Vineyard Company Eliza Red Blend. I actually have a bottle of HWC from Tocolone Wine Company up there, and it's a great wine. Eliza is actually a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc from that legendary Tocolone vineyard, arguably the most famous vineyard in America. Oakville sits at the center of Napa Valley and is known for producing wines with depth, purity, and an aromatic lift. And this Eliza wine leans into the floral, spicy character of that Cabernet Franc, which will give the notes of a little bit more violet, sage, graphite, and dark cherry. And that Cabernet Sauvignon then adds structure, richness, and length. So there's a lot of complexity in integration here that is a really interesting red blend I want to pick up. At number 5, we have Lakoya Diamond Mountain Cabernet Sauvignon. Lakoya's Diamond Mountain Cab is one of the most polished expressions of volcanic Napa climate and topography. Diamond Mountain sits at the northern end of the valley where the soils are very intense and the slopes are steep. So this wine will deliver black cherry, cassis, dark chocolate, crushed rock, and graphite with ultra firm tannins. So Diamond Mountain cabs are really known for their age worthiness as well here. And Lakoya takes that to the pinnacle, the highest level. This is a bottle that shows how mountain fruit can be very, very powerful while not necessarily overbearing on the palate. A very prestigious wine, no doubt. Next, we have Bevan Cellars Dr. Crane Cabernet Sauvignon. And this beats out the other Bevan wines on my wish list. I have a few. Their EE Cuvée and Sugarloaf Mountain come to mind in particular. Bevan's Dr. Crane Cab is a modern Napa powerhouse, dense, plush, explosively aromatic. And Dr. Crane, the vineyard sits on an old riverbed in St. Helena, which has gravelly soils that naturally concentrate the flavor. So you get a really interesting blend of winemaker in place here because Bevan's style is unapologetically hedonistic. Blackberry, blueberry, espresso, sweet tobacco, vanilla bean, and usually a velvety tannin-like sensation. You get this awesome combination of location and style, which is why this is one of my top pickups. At number 3, we have Stag's Leap Wine Cellars Cask 23. I could mention Stag's Leap SLV here, but Cask 23 blends fruit from the legendary Fay and SLV vineyards and creates one of Napa's most iconic wines. Stag's Leap District is known for its unique combination with the warm valley floor temperatures and the cooling canyon breezes. And Cask 23 will layer that black cherry, blackberry, cedar, graphite, violets, baking spice, all wrapped into that refined, polished texture package. Tannins will be silky and the aromatics will be lifted, and the balance will be fantastic. This is a bottle that I think really pulled Napa to that world stage after SLV won the Judgment of Paris. It remains one of Napa Valley's most consistently excellent prestige wines, and I really want a bottle of it. At number 2, I put all the cults here, just as a group. Opus 1, Harlan Estate, Screaming Eagle. And that's because they all exist in their own universe, let's be honest. You've got Opus 1 is a polished wine. It's very architectural, which blends this Bordeaux-like tradition with the Napa richness. Harlan Estate is sometimes described as Napa's first growth, with incredible depth, texture, longevity. And then you've got Screaming Eagle, which is like the rarest and most exclusive Cabernet in America. So each really represents a different vision of Napa, um, of luxury, and it is each shaped the valley's global reputation. I would really be doing a disservice not to include these. But if you know about Napa wines, then you've heard these names, so they're not necessarily the most novel things to talk about. So that's why I didn't rank them independently in here. I kind of all collectively gathered them. Number 1, Dunn Vineyards Howell Mountain Cabernet Sauvignon. I actually have a bottle of these ready to be picked up somewhere in Chicago when I go on a road trip. And I have the 2021, which is their most recent vintage, ready for purchase. So excited to get my hands on this. Dunn Howell Mountain Cab is one of the most important wines ever made in Napa Valley. Howell Mountain sits above the fog line, which gives grapes long sunlight exposure and cool nights. And that combination in particular will give you these really small berries with really thick skins and a naturally high tannin. This wine will show black currant, graphite, crushed rock, dried herbs, and a strong volcanic minerality. The acidity will be bright, the tannins will be firm. There will be a great sense of verticality to the wine as well. Now, Dunn does not chase trends or flash. It has held the characteristics of longevity, authenticity, and purity of sight for quite a while. And this is a wine that rewards patience and defines what mountain Cabernet can be at its highest level. It ages for decades and develops over time. So, I apologize for all the white wine lovers, and I am clearly biased towards mountain fruit and towards reds. Let me know what is on your wish list in the comments. This has been Approachable Napa.